Hello there. Thanks for joining me on 7 Edition this Saturday. I'm Tonton and these are tonight's top stories. Not everything can be free, says Prime Minister. 14-year-old teenager dies evading rape. And 43rd President of the United States dies, aged 94. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the government cannot provide everything for free to help reduce the high cost of living faced by the people. This is because doing so would involve using monies collected from taxes from the people.
Kita janji dalam manifesto kita akan cuba sedaya upaya untuk mengurangkan kos sara hidup rakyat. Tetapi di masa yang sama kita kalau kos sara hidup rakyat itu ditanggung oleh pihak kerajaan, maka ini bermakna kita tidak selamatkan apa-apa, kerana wang kerajaan datang daripada cukai yang dipungut oleh kerajaan daripada rakyat. Apabila kita guna wang kerajaan, kita juga menggunakan wang rakyat. Dengan itu kita perlu tanggung sara hidup yang lebih tinggi.
The Premier noted that the government is looking at many ways to help the people and is always open to suggestions from any individuals or groups on helping the government lessen the people's financial burden. This includes suggestions on how to reduce the cost of transportation and goods that are sold in shops and markets. Meanwhile, the Pakatan Harapan government launched the Unlimited Travel Pass, known as My 100 and My 50, in a move to reduce the cost of living for the people. Tun Dr. Mahathir said the facility, which would be implemented in the Klang Valley effective January 1st, 2019, would also be extended to other states in the future. The Prime Minister, who launched the Travel Pass, said it was also an initiative by the government towards promoting the culture of cashless society, which among others could curb corruption.
Bila kita guna cash, kadang-kadang cash ini diguna untuk rasuah dan sebagainya. Bila kita perkenalkan sistem cashless, sukar bagi mereka untuk menyogok wang rasuah kepada sesiapa. Kerana semuanya akan direkod. Tiap satu perbelanjaan akan direkod dalam bank dan dalam lain-lain sistem supaya kita dapat tahu siapa yang memberi dan siapa yang menerima wang sogokan.
The My 100 Pass allows commuters access to unlimited rides for 30 days on all forms of rapid KL rail and road transport. They include the MRT, LRT, monorail, BRT Sunway, Rapid KL buses, and MRT feeder buses. With the My 50 Pass, commuters can enjoy unlimited rides for a period of 30 days on all Rapid KL buses and MRT feeder buses, but not including BRT. The Premier believes those who commute daily using public transport will be able to save up to 100 ringgit a month.
Saya yakin rakyat yang ada di Kuala Lumpur ini akan menjayakan cara ini. Kalau kita dapat lebih banyak ridership atas kemudahan perjalanan oleh prasarana, saya yakin kita semua akan dapat membeli lebih banyak barang-barang lain, kerana tiap tahun kita akan selamatkan sebanyak RM1,200 kalau kita guna pas ini tiap bulan kita beli.
At the event, 10 top national sport figures were introduced to act as ambassadors of the new Unlimited Travel Pass. Among others, squash queen Datuk Nicole David, national diver Cheong Jun Hung, and Paralympic athlete Muhammad Ridwan Puzi. In other news, a former official at the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, on Friday pleaded guilty to banking violations as part of an attempt to lobby against American authorities' pursuit of Malaysia's scandal-tarred 1MDB investment fund. The DOJ announced the matter, saying 46-year-old George Higginbotham had admitted to lying to U.S. banks while transferring tens of millions of dollars to fund a lobbying campaign on behalf of Low Tech Joe, the alleged mastermind of the 1MDB affair. The DOJ, in a statement posted on its website, said Higginbotham, who had served as a liaison between the department and U.S. lawmakers, admitted to deceiving banks, including producing fake loan and consulting documents to hide the true source of the funds. The purpose of the funds was to finance a lobbying campaign to persuade U.S. officials to resolve the civil and criminal cases brought in the 1MDB case. Federal prosecutors in August charged the fugitive financier, also known as Joe Low, with 8 counts of money laundering. Low was accused of helping orchestrate the theft of $4.5 billion from the government-backed investment fund. The DOJ also announced it was seeking to recover $73 million held in American bank accounts that Higginbotham and Prakazel Prasmikil opened last year on Low's behalf.
In the markets. Based on law.
FGV Holdings Berhad has filed a 7.69 million ringgit suit against its former chairman Tan Sri Isa Samad and former group president and chief executive officer Dato' Muhammad Emir Mavani Abdullah over the purchase of 2 properties in Kuala Lumpur. Now, the company said that the luxury condominiums located near the KLCC were purchased at prices significantly above market value and without proper due diligence. This is the second civil suit filed against the duo, who were also accused of having unauthorized use and possession of the 2 condominiums. The suit also pertains to the acquisition by the company of a number of cars and its misuse by Dato' Muhammad Emir, as well as the misuse of the petrol benefit. FGV is seeking a compensation from the duo, contending that the company had suffered losses from their failure to discharge their respective fiduciary duty with reasonable care, skill and diligence. Last Friday, FGV filed a suit against Tan Sri Isa, Dato' Muhammad Emir and 12 others in relation to the acquisition of Asian Plantation Limited for 514 million ringgit in 2014. The company contended that the purchase caused it to suffer losses. The government will not spare those found guilty for misappropriation of funds, especially if it involves the people's money. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Dato' Sri Dr. Mujahid Yusof Rawa, said this following police reports lodged by Lembaga Tabung Haji (TH) against the fund board's former top officials and staff. In a statement issued today, Dato' Sri Dr. Mujahid said those found guilty must be brought to justice to restore the people's confidence in TH. TH yesterday lodged 2 police reports against its former chairman, Dato' Sri Abdulaziz Abdul Rahim, former chief executive officers Tan Sri Ismi Ismail and Dato' Sri Johan Abdullah, as well as senior management staff. The senior staff in question are Chief Operating Officer Dato' Adi Azwan Abdul Ghani, Chief Financial Officer Dato' Rozaida Omar, Legal Advisor Hazlina Muhammad Khalid, and Senior General Manager for Corporate Services and Real Estate Rifina Muhammad Arif. The first report involves Yayasan Tabung Haji's 2017 program, where funds totaling over 22 million ringgit were allegedly disbursed for activities with political inclinations. The second report against Tan Sri Ismi, Hazlinda and Rifina related to alleged misappropriations and withholding of material information involving TH's 2012 sale of 95% shareholdings in PT-TH Indo Plantations to PT Borneo Pacific for some 3.8 billion ringgit. Police crippled an international drug processing and trafficking syndicate with seizure of 6.75 million ringgit worth of drugs in 4 raids in the Klang Valley last Tuesday. They also nabbed 10 members of the syndicate aged between 24 and 39, who included 7 foreigners. Bukit Aman Narcotics CID Director Datuk Sri Muhammad Saleh said the suspects comprise of 6 Indian nationals, 2 local men, as well as a Russian man and his girlfriend, a local woman. Various types of drugs were also seized in the operation, carried out between 5:45 p.m. and 10:30 p.m., including shabu, liquid cocaine, and ephedrine precursor. Authorities also uncovered 2 drug processing laboratories in a bungalow at Jalan Ampang and another bungalow at Jalan Kemajuan, Petaling Jaya. Also seized were 5 luxury cars, a motorcycle, 10,840 ringgit cash, a pistol, watch, and necklace.
Yang pastinya seorang warga negara Rusia yang ditangkap merupakan ahli kimia dan merupakan seorang yang dikata orang seorang yang utama dalam syndicate ini. Dan dibantu oleh 6 warga negara India. Satu kertas yang kita jumpa ya. Satu kertas tu disenaraikan macam mana cara nak memproses dadah. Jadi kita percaya mungkin rahsia ni mungkin formula, dia punya formula dia.
Based on initial investigations, the syndicate was believed to be trafficking in drugs into the country and neighboring countries. Checks also found that the Russian suspect entered the country using a valid work permit, which expires next year, and that he had entered the country as a student 5 years ago, while the 6 Indian nationals were without any valid travel documents. All of them have been remanded until Tuesday for investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act.
Meanwhile, a teenage girl was allegedly beaten to death by her neighbor after she tried to stop the latter from raping her in Semporna, Sabah last Wednesday. Police said the 14-year-old victim, who was found semi-conscious in a bamboo farm in Pulau Gaya on the same day, was rushed to the Semporna hospital before she was pronounced dead. Police said the victim, upon being found by her aunt, managed to inform the woman that she had been attacked by her neighbor. District Police Chief Superintendent Peter Umbuas said the victim then succumbed to head injuries and was pronounced dead at 11:30 p.m. He also said a 29-year-old suspect who lodged a police report to deny his involvement in the murder was later arrested. Police also seized a machete. The case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. In Johor, an Imam and his wife died within hours of each other at their home in Kampung Cokro, Simpang Renggam in Kluang early this morning. Bera Madiran, the Imam at Masjid Jami' Simpang Renggam, was found dead by his wife Maimunah Dariman at about 4:30 a.m. as she woke up to prepare for Subuh prayers. After she informed one of their children about Bera's death, she stayed with his remains in their bedroom before she was also found dead by her son at about 6:30 a.m. The remains of Bera and Maimunah were buried in a single grave at the Sungai Berumbung Muslim Cemetery 4 hours later. The news of their deaths was posted on the Facebook of Pertubuhan Squad Pengurusan Jenazah Malaysia SPJM. Bera's death was a shock because he had led the Maghrib and Isha prayers at the mosque last night. He was diabetic while his wife had lymphoma cancer and had just underwent chemotherapy. Deputy Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Nazrin Shah reminded the people, especially their leaders, not to mastermind provocation that could ignite hatred and hostility between the people of various races and religions in the country. Sultan Nazrin, in his speech at the University Sultan Azlan Shah's 11th convocation ceremony today, also expressed his sadness that the harmonious situation, which has become a culture in the country, was being jeopardized due to political competition.
Berpunca daripada sikap sebahagian pemimpin politik yang memilih bersifat riak dengan kemenangan, sementara sebahagian yang kalah bersifat berdendam. Sebaliknya, pihak yang menang hendaklah mengamalkan budaya terpuji merendah diri, sementara yang tewas mengamalkan budaya menerima penentuan ilahi secara terhormat.
He added that the wisdom of the nation's founders in developing the country and uniting the people should be continued so that this peaceful, harmonious and prosperous nation could be passed on to the future generation. Being a multiracial country, Sultan Nazrin pointed out that Malaysia has all the components that can stir conflict. Fortunately, the past leaders chose not to be in conflict. Police today reacted the incident in which fireman Muhammad Adib Muhammad Qasim was severely injured in the riot outside the Seafield Sri Mahamariamman Temple. This is to shed light on the alleged assault as part of the police investigations on what actually happened last Monday night. The team comprised police investigating officers, the forensic unit, as well as officers and personnel from the Fire and Rescue Department. Also at the scene were firefighters who were present during the incident. Meanwhile, Selangor Police Chief Datuk Azlan said the situation at the temple was returned to normal. Presently, there are some 500 police officers and personnel stationed at the temple and its surrounding area. To date, 48 people have been arrested in connection to the riot. When we return, innovative school kids granted with awards. The details next. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the government will not extend the July 12, 2019 deadline for e-hailing drivers to undergo the Public Service Vehicle PSV course. Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siu Fook said the course is required for them to get a PSV license, and those who refuse to do so will be hauled up by authorities.
According to Loke, the PSV deadline will not be extended beyond the stipulated date. The decision follows the government's move to make it compulsory for e-hailing drivers to register for PSV license like taxi drivers, starting January 1st, 2019.
Any business that you want to involve in, definitely there is some procedure. I mean, if you tell me that you are earning a few thousand ringgit, you are not willing to go to a few hours of PSV course and spend 100-200 ringgit for that license, there is no excuse for that. As I said, we are not siding with any parties. The taxi drivers are gunning me. Why we are not enforcing the same rules? So we are enforcing the same rule right now. We want to make it level playing field. The taxi drivers, what the taxi drivers have to go through, the e-hailing drivers must take the same thing.
Loke explained, effective July 12 this year, his ministry has been regulating e-hailing services under the SPAD Act and the Commercial Vehicle License Act. The July 12, 2019 deadline is therefore a one-year grace period for e-hailing drivers to be compliant. The PSV license, which costs 115 ringgit per year, is a type of vocational driving license that allows you to drive any type of commercial vehicle used for paying passengers, such as taxis and buses. E-hailing drivers who undergo PSV in the first half of 2019 will be subjected to background screenings, medical checkups, and undergo a special 6-hour driving training module, costing 200 ringgit per person. Taxi groups have long complained about e-hailing drivers as they do not need to comply to the regulations that cabbies are subjected to. Some e-hailing drivers, however, are saying that it is not necessary to get the PSV license and that they will protest by quitting a month before the enforcement date.
Now let's move on to our daily segment, Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Now, if you've ever been involved in a car accident, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Or perhaps some scripting going on in your head, trying to explain or stand up for yourself in the situation. But seems like arguing isn't the best way of solving road accidents in some cases. Here's the story.
A Twitter user, Mizan Zai, posted a thread about the incident that happened between him and an old taxi driver, which had caught the attention of 30,000 Twitter users since the day it was posted. The taxi driver, Anggodorai, came out of his car after the minor crash happened, and the first thing he did was to apologize towards the Velfire's driver, Mizan. Mizan felt a sudden rush of guilt as the uncle, who was much older than him, apologized first after the incident. Instead of lashing out bad words towards Uncle Anggodorai, who reminded him of his own father, Mizan gently said that it was fine and what happened was beyond anyone's control. When both parties weren't overwhelmed by anger, things were settled down quite easily. To top it off, the police officer who helped them on that day was very courteous in handling everything smoothly. The story of Mizan and Uncle Anggodorai could be a life lesson for us, because it all goes back to whether we wish to see the glass half full or otherwise in every situation.
Now updated as of 7 p.m. Here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. A 10-year-old schoolgirl who aspires to help and instill good personal hygiene in other children has been honored with the Tuanku Bainon Young Changemakers 2018 award. Sarah Najiha Muhammad Fauzi brought the house down with her kid-friendly handmade soap stuffed with a surprise toy at the awards ceremony held recently. Farah Nabila Wazir has more.
The Kedah-born girl said her handmade Sarah and surprise soap was aimed at enticing other children to wash up in a bid to encourage them to be more hygienic. The concept is simple. Kids who use the product regularly will be surprised with the toy hidden inside the soap as it wears down.
Najah tengok kat sekolah Najah tak ada macam sikit sangat orang guna sabun. Jadi Najah fikir macam mana mau bagi orang tu minat dengan sabun. Jadi Najah letak mainan di dalam sabun. Harga dia yang kecil RM1, yang besar RM5.
Sarah, who won the individual category for ages 6 to 12 years, said she learned how to make soap from YouTube and is now receiving orders from other people online. Meanwhile, 13-year-old Muhammad Danish Agunawan emerged victorious in the 13 to 15 years old individual category for his vocal stance against the use of plastic material.
Kami akan menggalakkan atau mengencouragekan murid-murid supaya mereka membawa bekas makanan sendiri dan dapat mengharamkan polistirin dalam kehidupan mereka sebab polistirin memang sangat berbahaya.
This year, the organizer received more than 60 submissions across Malaysia during the nomination period from July 1st until September 30th, 2018. So this just shows that there are too many young pioneers of change in our community.
We found so many children doing so many amazing things, and they become role models for other children when we bring these stories to other schools. And other children, when they watch them, when they watch other possible role models and they say, hey, if they can do it, I want to do it too.
Farah Nabila Wazir for 7 Edition.